There ain't no other way to say this. It's time to get Steph some help. Steph is having a ridiculous start to this particular season, but I want to hit you with some interesting stats. This man has started the season averaging 30 points a game, 47% from the field, 44.7 from three. Mind you, I'm looking at multiple games where he took 10 or more threes. In fact, the lowest number of threes he took was 10. 44.7. Let's just give it 45% from three. Nearly 5 rebounds, 4.8. I think that might be even a high note. Last season he averaged 6. My man out there cooking. When they say Chef Curry with the pot, listen, he cooking, serving 5-course gourmet meals, and unfortunately, we ain't got nobody out there. We're sitting there making all these delicious food, but we got people serving them on garbage pails because guess what? He ain't got no help. Steve Kerr, what is we doing? First of all, what is we doing? The whole Chris Paul thing, I get it. It looked good in theory, looked nice. Maybe if you had the same version of Clay, I'm going to have a sober net video about that a little later. But like realistically, what is that? That wasn't, the moves wasn't moving. Like the moves didn't make sense. At the same time, I'm still there trying to figure out where the heck is the support? Like what the, get Steph some help. I'm looking at some very inconsistent play. Now, here's the thing. I see people say that Andrew Wiggins is a step, but Andrew Wiggins has been the player he is his entire career, right? Andrew Wiggins is going to give you 20, 18, sometimes 15. He's going to give you somewhere around there. But for him to totally dominate throughout, it's not really who he's been in his career. He is a great number two. You know what? Ain't nothing wrong with that. I get that. I'm not going to say great. Well, no, he's a good number two, right? But that ain't what we need. That he needs, that ain't gonna do it in the NBA, right? I give you case in point. Every Batman has a Robin, or every Superman has a Batman. However you want to look at this analogy, pick your poison with it. Guess what? If I say the name Jalen Brunson, you got one, maybe two names you can name to be that Batman and that Robin, or however whosoever, right? I say Dame Lillard, you got Giannis. You say Giannis, you got Dame Lillard. You also got Chris Middleton right behind him. If I sit there and say Zach LaVine, which he's more than likely going to get traded, you have Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, who is a top 10 big in this league. Argue with your mama, the stats prove it. I'm not trying to hear. Top 10 center in this league. Do your research. The teams that are winning, they got the extra guy, right? They may not have the Justice League, but God dag it, they got somebody else out there that can help them do what they need to do. I'm sorry. Draymond is a really good pivotal piece when you have the rest of the team built out. Draymond is not going to be able to help carry this team the way that they needed to. That's not his game. I'm not trying to begrudge him. I'm not trying to even talk bad about him. That's not his game and not his role. He sacrificed a lot of that for the Warriors to be who they are, and he has been rewarded handsome, and he should be appreciated for it. Don't get me wrong. But we're now in the era of the Warriors where that ain't going to be it. You screaming, hooping, hollering, and just trying to bully everybody just ain't going to work. I need you to hoop, my G. You out there looking like a louder Ben Simmons. That's not going to work, my G. Klay Thompson can't hit the side of a boat in the ocean, or he can't hit the ocean from the boat. However you want to say that, he's having a tough time. He deserves a more ceremonious exit. I get it. I think it's time for him to come off the bench for sure. I know they flirted with that, the way they've utilized and played in minutes, but right now, all this equating to is I'm seeing Steph go out there again, averaging 30 points, shooting nearly 50% from the field, nearly 50% from three, and everybody else out there like, huh? Like, it ain't working. Right? Loon is still being Loon, don't get me wrong, but Loon is Loon. You know what Loon is doing. You know what Kevon Looney is going to get you. You know what's happening with that mix. That is not going to be it to compete in the Western Conference and do what you need to do. You need to get Steph some help. You need to get Steph some help. Now, what the help actually looks like could be a lot of different things. The name Zach LaVine has come up for the Warriors a couple times. They may be in the mix to get another star of that caliber to bring him in. To be honest, if it wasn't for the fact that Jordan Poole was such a jerk, he probably would still be in the Warriors jersey if he could have just played ball, played with the team, and then took that next evolution where now he, Steph, and Draymond are sitting there out there lighting it up the way that Steph, Clay, and Draymond did it. And everything like that. The next evolution of players stepping up. But he wanted to have his own team, and that's going very well for him right now. It's his team. He got it, right? Not so much. That's a fool if I've ever seen one. But he got the bag. He did what he did. The more I hear about Jordan Poole, the more I realize that Draymond was probably right for hitting him dead in his face. Because if he was on our team, I'd probably hit him dead in his face for the stuff that he was probably saying that he's alleged to have said for that. And yeah, that's... I kind of stand on that one right there. If I ever see him, yeah, he wants to discuss it, then we just discuss it. I'm not saying I'm tough or anything like that, but I ain't gonna back off this comment. Like you was wilding, my boy, and you ain't got it like that. You're not him. You could have been him. You're not him. Hopefully you change it. Hopefully he comes around, but you're not him. But that doesn't stop the fact that Jordan Poole was still like 20 points a game, was doing a lot of stuff, and he's won some games for the Warriors. He won a playoff game for them. He won a finals game, if I'm not mistaken, for them. Like him not showing up for that game, they would have struggled. So like for real, he's done some things, but maybe let it get to his head too early. I don't know. But at the end of the day, the development of the other people around him, Kuminga has been used sparingly. Moody has been used these are players that need and deserve tick and stuff like that. And Steve Kerr's in an interesting position. He has to start playing these players because some of his older players can't sit there and produce the same way. And you have this freaking superstar of superstars going off. And you're like, man, what's the best way to support him? Stuff like that. It's a tough situation, but figure it the heck out because Steph needs help. Steph needs help. And this ain't the LeBron, I got half the league with me and I still need help. This is I'm out there with people who wouldn't even make it to out the first round of the playoffs right now the way they hooping. I help. LeBron ain't had that type of urgency since well before he got to Miami. I ain't trying to hear that. And that was over a decade ago. So you LeBron fans, do what you will with that. I ain't finna sit there and go down the road with you. But at the end of the day, something is lacking and Steph needs help. Now, I could load this up with a bunch of analytical stats because I'm a very analytical dude. I can run that down. I can run that game and I have that high level conversation with you, but I just don't feel like it because it's obvious if you have two eyes, and even if you don't, if you just listen to the game and you can sit there and process the fact that it's one guy out there doing a whole lot of work on the offensive end, a whole lot of moving and shaking going on the offensive end, and not always another people supporting that. Now, Warriors recently just had a good game. I think Andre Wiggins had a good game. Kuminga even put up some good points and stuff like that. But it ain't consistent enough for me to sit there and not make this video. The boy out there need help. And the GM there now, I don't forgot that man there. He needs to get it done. And Steve Kerr needs to put some pressure on some people to produce and help support that. Because, like, realistically, you only have so much that you can expect. Now, because Steph is a shooter, I think he can do this for the next couple of years, but you want to maximize that. And I know they've gone through some lows before and they bounce back, but this one's a little different because you ain't got the same names that might be coming through that door. And you're not going to have another Kevin Durant come through there. Not quite yet. So it'll be interesting to see how this shapes up. But I want to hear your thoughts, man. I want to hear who you think who is on the trading block that could end up in a Warriors jersey, because that's ultimately where this conversation is going. If I say get him some help, that means somebody got to move. Somebody got to shake. Who's the player that needs to be moved? Who's the player that got to shake? And who can we get in the building to help Steph Curry continue this? Because I would hate for Steph Curry to be out there like the Dwayne Wade. If you all remember this, and I'm not saying they play the same, but the dominance is there. You all remember when Dwayne Wade had that season where I think he was going off. He's putting up Kobe-like numbers, but they were like 20 and it was like 22 and 60, like something like that. It was a really, really bad season. It was right after they had won a championship, maybe a year after, something like that. He was torching people. Like, he was one of the best players in the league, but their record was trash. That's what this is shaping up to be. Like, couple years off a championship. Clearly, Steph is still got it, but they looking like trash. It's feeling like that, and I don't want that for my boy, especially when we in this day of player mobility. Get somebody in this building. Somebody do something. Bring Boogie. Why is Boogie not in the league? Is he in the whose team is he signed to? Somebody do something. Why ain't John Wall on the team no more? We paying Chris Paul. Why not John Wall still got a lot to go. He does a lot more. I know that's a weird thing, but it's like you gotta get this. I'm just throwing stuff at the wall, hoping it stick. Get my boy some help though. Get my boy some help. But I want to hear your thoughts, man. Well, it's love for the sake. Put it in the chat. I'll be in there with y'all. Till next time. Peace.